Hello, welcome to VOP this morning. Of course, we have Mr. Lawal Ekundaya, who's an educationist and a farmer, to help us make sense of all the headlines on the newspaper this morning. Good morning, Mr. Lawal.
Good morning.
So we're going to kick off with Daily Trust this morning. And on the banner headline says, protests in Lagos, Osun, Edo over hardship. Federal government, Labour meeting deadlocked. IG puts officers on red alert, warns troublemakers. Begin food importation now, TUC tells federal government. On top of the nameplate, we have reps to conclude constitution amendment in 24 months. I believe Mr. Lawal is going to be smiling to that because he has been talking a lot about amending the constitution. Moving on, real sector starved of forex, says NECA. Water scarcity hits FCT. Bandits displace 10 communities in Kaduna. 7 killed in Benue cult clash. Gaza war. U.S. airman set self ablaze outside Israeli embassy. Oronsaye Report. EFCC, ICPC, CCB to merge. PTAD, PTDF, and NEWA to be scrapped. And that's all we have for Daily Trust this morning. Mr. Lawal, which of these headlines would you want to react to?
The constitutional review.
Okay.
But that constitutional review is a good move, which we've been asking for. But the process is what scares me. You get it? Because when you want to do a constitutional review, you must listen to all the parties that are involved. It's not something that the House will just sit down and say they are amending. No, we are still going to go back to square one if we do that. Because the aggrieved parties, if they are not involved, we'll go back to square one. What I mean by aggrieved parties is that all those ethnic areas that make up Nigeria must be involved. Their views, their opinions must be considered. Okay. That was why the Jonathan during his administration, he did this referendum. You get it, but it was never opened up till now. So that thing must be brought out, and everybody must see what was done in that thing, so that it can be, we can see whether it's something can be added to the constitutional review. So that's the fear. I don't want us to go back to square one.
So are you surprised of this news?
That the constitutional review.
Yeah.
No, it's not that I'm surprised.
Okay.
I'm happy to hear it.
Okay.
But I'm afraid of the process. I fear the process.
Don't you think the government would have looked into all the, to the clause before bringing up this?
When you say government doesn't mean the people who are in the ends of affairs. Because without the population, without the public, there can never be government.
But that's why we have representatives who actually represent the people. They would have had the discussion with their people from the grassroots.
In Nigeria,
represent their own
across the world, you don't do that. Even where people are, where election are, election malpractices are, curbed, you don't do that. You must listen to the people, because the people who represent you are very, very few. You have how many senators in the whole of Lagos? 3. And the Lagos population, look at the number. So how will it go around to know all the ethnics, all the obas?
But we have the second chamber.
Even we decide how many are they? 6.
So you think they're not enough?
Which is being pulled from every constituency. We have them pulled to represent the people.
That is why I'm saying, you get it, that though they represent the people, but it's not enough.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Well, let's get into another paper now. We have the Vanguard on our table. The Vanguard here, but a headline here reads, Hardship ahead NLC rally. Protests rock Edo, Lagos, Osun. Sub-riders, fix economy or resign. Edo CSOs tell Tinubu. Will defend protesters nationwide. Police HQ places men on red alert nationwide. Warns in posters against hijack. TSOs ask members, Nigerians, to join NLC protest. All right, and then right underneath that one we have enhancing maritime security, and then there's a pictorial there. Right beside it we have Edo Guba. Idahosa's men petition Ganduje, wants Uzodinma's report upheld. TUC advises FG to allow importation of food items. And then let's quickly look above the nameplate. Police, I beg your pardon, political risk, regulatory concerns, threaten infrastructure funds. Tinubu reduces 263 MDAs to 161 as FEC adopts Oronsaye Report. Nigeria will work if Southeast works optimally. Shatima. Light Up Nigeria project will spur Southeast industrialization, says Ba. All right. And let's see now. Basically, I think these are all the headlines that we have from the cover page of the Vanguard newspaper. Now, what do you make of the brouhaha going on in Edo State over who emerges to represent the APC?
But to me, I think it's one of the things we are talking about in the country. You get, because it's like INEC. And
no. This isn't about INEC now. This is about the party itself. It seems disorganized.
That's what I'm trying to. I'm trying to look at the whole structure from the beginning to the end.
Go ahead.
Each one of them, the INEC, you get, because the INEC has to be there. When you are doing your primaries, INEC has to be there. It must be represented. So when it's represented, it will now take. It will make sure that it is conducted according to the laid down rules in INEC. Then they will now pick the name of the person that emerged as a candidate, and then the name is the one that they will now use and no other name. So if INEC is represented there, you are now coming out, the APC is now coming out to present maybe two people, or maybe saying something is working here or not, where INEC is there, everybody's looking at INEC now to say, who do you people, you were there, are you not there?
No,
so
but it's not up to INEC to pick. It's up to
what I'm saying that INEC was there.
A representative of INEC.
Yes,
of course.
INEC was there. So if election that took place here was not free or properly done, you would have said no, you have to redo it. Okay. But if INEC is not saying anything, that means INEC has a candidate already. That means the election was what I mean. That means the election in APC to pick their candidate was okay. So INEC must have got a candidate name from that primary.
All right.
So this is not the first time we're having something like that. In Imo State also, we actually experienced that with Labour Party. Before they finally had their own election. So is it
more of a party?
I think it's a party thing.
INEC too is not doing his work, because you're supposed to come and say, no, this is the candidate that we have his name. When the election was done, no, this is the candidate that we have the name. So every other thing you are saying is null and void. Everybody would have kept quiet. Right. But INEC kept quiet and the parties are fighting. So the question is, INEC, who you were there, were you not? So tell us your candidate.
You seem to have a grasp with INEC. That's right. INEC needs to do better, right? Okay, so we agree on that one.
So even when it's the fault of the party, INEC still...
Right, let's get into another paper.
We have to look at the Punch newspaper. And
we have to?
Above the nameplate from the Punch, I have to... Okay, this says that police deploy anti-riot squad as NLC holds protest today. Above the nameplate, Ogun, Kogi, Taraba government felicitate Punch at 50. Just beneath the nameplate, 12 years after Tinubu adopts Oronsaye Report emerges urgency. The rider says that Tinubu orders SGF a panel to implement measures in 12 weeks. Minister rules out job losses. NDPHC, Diaspora Commission, 2 others moved to ministries, PTAD abolished. Oronsaye Report, 541 parastatals, commission and agencies of FG. Key recommendations were also there. This is a pictorial. 263 agencies to be slashed to 161, and Savicam becomes BPSR department. 38 agencies to be scrapped. 241 billion naira to be saved if that is judiciously implemented. Sun lists expectation as Supreme Court Justice rise to 21. Customs suspends rice sales after 7 dies in stampede. You can get that on page 27 of the Punch newspaper. CBN sells over $300 million to bank as Naira gains. That is on the page 19 of the Punch newspaper. Okay, and that is it on the Punch newspaper this morning. Mr. Lawal, which of those headlines got your attention?
Customs suspend rice sale after 7 dying. Actually, I was on that Friday. I was on my way to Unilag, so I was in Yaba. So I saw this. I saw 2 last mile officials with rice halfback. They carried it. So we saw those rowdy, and there was traffic close to Unilag. So we were now wondering what's going on. Is that customs is sharing, selling rice at 10,000 per half a bag, I think.
25 kg.
Yes, and people were rushing there. So I was in the vehicle, the commercial vehicle. So I just went in my business. I didn't come there, but we saw people, rushing, and everything. And then this thing happened on Saturday. You get the death of innocent Nigerians trying to live their life. So, what advice do you think? Do you think TUC wants to advise?
Anyway, we'll get into that one because it's part of the things we're talking about later.
So,
go ahead.
The death of innocent Nigerians. I have, because they sent me the video later. I saw Nigerians, even soldiers, trying to scale the fence to go into the compound and get their own share. You see women, if you see the way they push women, you get it, by the buttocks, so throw them over the fence.
People were trying so hard to get into the compound. From what happened really is that initially, now the announcement had been made that rice will be given to Nigerians. That was, I think, Friday before. And then
it started on Friday.
Nigerians gathered there to purchase. It was to be 10,000 naira per 25 kg bag of rice.
And then with their name, I think.
Yes, you must have NIN and BVN and the rest of it. But that's not even the issue. Now, at a certain point, the customs officials decided to start giving it free without collecting money. That was when the stampede took place. People were rushing. Now, the problem I have with that is, couldn't there have been a more orderly manner of distribution as against allowing people converge in a compound? A compound, obviously, that cannot take Lagosians. I mean, when people hear that rice is being distributed, people will come from different parts of Lagos, and people converged on Harvey Road to get a fair share. I don't know if you did say you saw a video. I saw a video of people bleeding. I saw a woman carrying rice on her head eventually, but her hijab was stained in blood. There was another man who was clinging to his 25 kg bag of rice, but he was bleeding from his head. And people were trampled to death. People, yes, that's a video of people that gathered right there in the compound, trying to get access to the customs compound there, so they could have a fair share of the 25 kg bag of rice. This is
lack of
dehumanizing.
It is dehumanizing.
Nigerians
strategy.
have been reduced to
Yes.
beggars.
Yes.
I mean, it has even gotten to a situation where Nigerians, not those in IDP camps, I'm talking regular Nigerians now, line up with plates to collect food.
It's
When will
terrible.
this end?
It's terrible. It's
It
terrible.
is terrible.
People will, it shows that the people are, desperate. They are hopeless.
And then when
People
people
are
come up
hungry.
to talk about the way
more
the
than-
hardship
it's
is
beyond
striking
that.
us, another people will say that it is being politically inclined. When people are talking about the level of hunger, the level of hardship, economic hardship, that untold hardship that Nigerians are passing through day by day on a daily, other persons will wake up and say this is being a political issue.
And for you to see security agencies joining the people to try to get their share.
Agencies.
No, what I'm saying
the
is
security agencies, to be
because
fair,
to show that they
They're
too,
Nigerians as well. They're human beings.
they are seriously
To be fair,
feeling the bite.
They are human
everyone
beings
is.
as well.
Everybody.
Everyone
So
is.
who is not politicizing it?
But then, moving away from this a little bit, the people who actually own these rights that is being shared are human beings. These are people that own
I
businesses.
was even coming to that.
So
I was even
how
That's
come?
another thing. That's another
makes no
argument
sense.
that
Because
Yes.
these things were
customs
seized from
doesn't
people.
it's not planting rice. For God's sake, you seize this rice from people.
So the money being
are you going
collected,
to
where
be
is it
depending
going
on
to?
seized rice to feed Nigeria? Are you going to be depending on these are
Okay,
people's
so-
businesses you have ruined.
Isn't it the same way vehicles are impounded and
And then you now begin to
Auction.
auction it. It doesn't make sense. It shows that the government they don't care. You get, because these are some people who are going to be destroyed. For God's sake, you are going to destroy
I
some
saw a
people.
post that said someone
So
actually
are
died.
you not going to
from
be
this.
depending on that
Yes,
every now and
absolutely.
then? Are you going to be depending on that every now and then to feed Nigerians? We have to side
Is that
seize
even
some
right?
people's things to
That's not
feed
even the right. Is
Nigeria.
that the right
Is
thing
that
to
right?
do? Is that the right?
I even
thing to
had
do?
there was a time they went to Abuja and lock up lock down a store because they said the price on it. For God's sake, everybody have been doing their own prices. Dangote did his own prices. Did they go to lock his own store? Because he increased his own price. So if I have my store and I discover that I need to increase my price, I can do that. Did government buy it for me? Worst of the world, you go and set up your own store. You get it, so that people can divide to that area and leave my store alone. If the price change that day, can I not change my price? If your fuel change in that, like government coming out to say subsidy removed, that day you see price of petrol change instantly. Will I not? Don't I have the right to change my own? I have the right. So why are you going there to lock the store? The same thing that customs are doing now, impounding people's destroying people's businesses, impounding their thing and dishing it out to some people. So people will have to wait for customs to seize people's goods
So who
before they
takes the
can
money?
eat.
So who takes the money that the people are being
Paid.
paid?
Paid to
The
now.
money people pay to customs.
Telling so
All right,
many
then.
things.
All right, then. This is how far we can stretch the newspaper review. We'll be getting into major talking points.
Which is, agencies are set to be merged as President Tinubu implements the Oronsaye Report. Details will return after this quick break.
All right, then stay with us. All right, now, the day a lot of Nigerians have been waiting for has come. President Bola Tinubu is set to scrap several agencies, commissions, and departments of government as he implements the Oronsaye Report. Now, these hold a new beginning as the implementation creates room for merging, subsuming, and relocation of several agencies of government. Agencies that may be affected include the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, the Independent Corrupt Practices Commission, that's ICPC, that's Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, and the Federal Road Safety Commission. Additionally, the implementation may result in the abolition of 38 agencies, the measure of 52, and the reversion of 14 departments in ministries. Now, this new development will result, well, this new development is purported to result in loss of jobs for no fewer than 102 heads of agencies and parastatals and also members of staff. But the government has come out to say, no, nobody will lose their jobs. Oh well, the days are upon us. We will see if how government intends to curb job losses, because job losses at this time definitely isn't what any Nigerian would be looking forward to. Well, we have with us in the studio Mr. Lawale Kundayo, who is an educationist and also a public affairs commentator, and he always loves that you add the fact that he's a farmer to his portfolio. So yes, I will add that one to his. He's a proud farmer. And we have joining us all the way from Kano, virtually, of course, Barrister Bashir Badru. Welcome to the conversation. If you've joined us virtually already, Barrister. Oh yes, good morning to you, Barrister. Now, this.
Good morning. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Now, this is a lot of Nigerians have talked about the implementation of this report, the Oronsaye Report. The previous administrations, Good Luck administration raised a white paper on it, and Nigerians felt, okay, will anything happen after that? Nothing happened. That was in 2014. Now in 2022, the Muhammadu Buhari's administration also looked into it, raised a white paper, and Nigerians felt, okay, maybe now something will be done as cost of governance will be reduced, but nothing was done. Now, this administration, without maybe looking into the white papers raised earlier, have decided to implement some sections of that report. First off, what's your take on this? And then secondly, how do you think job losses will be curtailed?
All right. Good morning, Nigerians, and good morning, everyone. You see, somebody, somewhere, we just have to build the cart. We have delayed some of these instruments a long time. And if we want to set things right, like we have always proposed, we like good things. Nigerians will always love beautiful things. But are they ready? Are Nigerians really ready to actualize, to get to how these beautiful things become theirs? No, we're not. We have not always shown the seriousness, the readiness, the willpower to get to where we dream of getting to. This is one of our banes. And unfortunately, past administrations have also yielded to agitations. No, NLC today will be walking on the streets in protest against the hardship in the country. Yes, everybody feels the pain. And this is the first time in the history of this country when the rich also cry. So now it has come to everybody's door. It has become something very necessary. At the beginning, everybody was opposed to the removal of fuels subsidy. And everybody was like, why should they, at this critical time, And if you listen carefully, if you are a follower of events, you will also see that virtually everyone who has come to tell this country, I'm ready to govern Nigeria, also have proposed that we must remove the subsidy. Because, in fact, some people called it a scam. And some others say, no, it has overstayed its usefulness. So if first subsidy remover has brought us to this level, then what are other things? What are things that we should do to augment the pains?
We're not exactly focusing on the removal of subsidy now. We're looking at...
I understand.
Okay.
I understand perfectly. I'm actually coming to this report.
Okay.
If this report had been implemented in 2014 when it was gazetted, if this report has been implemented in 2022 when it was again brought back, then we won't be where we are today. Just recently,
Go ahead, please.
Now with you?
Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Just recently, there is a proposal from the federal government on relocating some offices of the CBN back to Lagos, where the actual functionality resides. But what do? People started wagging tongues and begin to ascribe this to ethnic disparities. This is Nigeria, unfortunately. But a serious leader will eventually take to what is necessary to get things done. So, looking at the report, I have read the report. I mean, the gazetted report, especially the one that was published in 2014, which is the white paper on the presidential committee on what do you call it, restructuring and restructuring and rationalization. Yes, okay. That's the word used. The restructuring and rationalization of federal government parastatals, commissions, and agencies. Now, it is just a 103-page document, and it is segmented into two parts, part 1 and part 2. Part 2 is largely tabulated, and you see the tables. Most of these proposals, most of these proposals were rejected even by the government that constituted this committee. The Jonathan government rejected most of these proposals.
Why?
Most of the things everybody is agitating. They're going to collapse this, they're going to collapse that, and they're going to do this, they're going to do that.
The question now is, why would the previous administration reject? What were they afraid of? Because let me put this in perspective, all right? Some agencies that will be scrapped. Now, these agencies have people working there. Now, agencies that will be scrapped are Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate. We also have, so the Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate to be scrapped and functions transferred to the Federal Ministry of Finance. We also have National Senior Secondary Education Commission, NSSEC, to be scrapped, and its functions will be transferred to the Department of Basic and Secondary Education in Federal Ministry of Education. We also have some agencies that will be merged. Now, what was the fear of previous administrations in implementing the Oronsaye Report? That's what I'm going to.
I may just make a guess. I may not, because I do not belong to that administration.
Absolutely.
I do not belong to a policy maker. So I may just make a guess of what may be their fear. You see, sometimes when you do not have sufficient resources to implement a policy, you nurse a fear of what will be the public reaction to this policy. But if you have an enormous idea, a robust idea of accommodating this your fear, then that fear wouldn't be there. Now, let me break it down. When you merge agencies or even commissions or even parastatals, it is easy. Those ones that are scrapped becomes department under the new one, and no job is lost. You only need to expand horizon. So now the new department accommodating, or the new agency accommodating these departments that have been scrapped will have more work to do on their supervision, because this whole parastatal is been on its own before now. Now it has to come under a particular ministry or a particular agency. So their fear was, because of poor ideas, felt that people will be laid off. Those who are not necessarily useful to that organization should go back home. It's simple.
Is it really going to be that easy?
Well, ultimately, so it comes back to, yes, some people will have
if you run a company, you inherited a very poor company, for instance, and what do you do in the first place? In the first place, you come to the round table with the staff of this company and ask, how do we move forward from here? You will have seen some people that are just clogs in the wheel of that company. They are so useless. But because they have overstayed, it's like there are so many houses that I manage on behalf of clients, and you get there, you find some tenants who have been there for 30 years. They have become more, in fact, they are stronger than the landlord. So there is nothing the landlord can do except he brings a foreign body to come and deal with these guys. So you have to respond to these issues. I became the head of chamber somewhere, and I inherited a very bad arrangement. First thing I did was set a timetable. This is how we go to court. This is how we respond to issues today. And we assigned files. And one of the lawyers said, no, I've been handling this particular file and I can't leave it. I said, did you bring it from home? She said, no. I said, if you are not leaving that file, then you are leaving this office. It's as simple as that. So let us be ready to face the reality. We cannot continue to window dress and expect things to change. Nothing will change.
Okay. But looking at the structure of the civil service arrangement, we know that level 16 will be the people that they call the director and all that. Now, don't you think merging these commissions actually will bring conflict of interest, whereby a director will not want to go down to, you know, another level, or maybe being a deputy or something below that?
You see,
because they've already said
whether he goes down or he goes up, who pays his salary? Does he pay himself? Has that arrangement changed anything? See, we over-celebrate things that are irrelevant. Who knows you to be a director when you are not even productive? So you need, the government actually needs to up its game. The truth is, where I work presently, you will see that our fear is these students, these cadets, officers that we are producing today, where would they be tomorrow? Where are the offices for them? So what we are proposing to the authority is, please create more offices to accommodate these officers that will be graduating in the next few years, because we will begin to have them in surplus. And if offices are not available, they will be redundant. And will be paying salary. And it is going to be useless.
All right, so let's come to our studio guest now, Lawale Kundayo. Now, this administration seems to be taking the bull by the horn, doing everything that administrations before it were too afraid to do. First, fuel subsidy was taken off, boom, and Nigerians are feeling the bite of it.
And it was implemented immediately.
All other administration were like, let's remove subsidy, but then I won't be the one to remove it. Now, the Oronsaye Report of 2012 looks like it's going to be implemented. Boom. And of course, there will be concomitant effects. How do you react to this?
Actually, I think some of these agencies, we get it, were created along the line to accommodate some politicians. You get it?
You think so?
Yes, they were created because each one will have a political head. You get, each agency will have a political head. So now that they want to scrap some of them, those political heads, because like they'll now start sharing it, now feel like they are going to lose their appointment, or I will not get into these areas, I will not get into that area. So when something wants to be done, you get it, they begin to do some political maneuvering underground, so that eventually, if those who did not want it to go because of their own maybe personal reasons, have upper hand, then the president's hands may be tight at that moment.
Could it be the reason, when 2022, when Boss Mustafa and Ebere Okeke were reviewing the white paper, she made mention of some of the commissions being the product of the bills passed by the House Assembly. Could that be the reason they did not actually specify the legal framework on the structure of what the agencies?
See, that's why I said, you get it, that they created some of these things to accommodate some politicians, just to settle them. So when you look at it, even when you go to the House, because that's why you see, at a point, the former Senate president during the past administration of Buhari said that anything he presents, we are going to approve it. Do you remember he said that? He said anything he presents, we are going to approve it. So you now see that because up to now, people were complaining that the House, the reps are compromised. How can a rep run to the president each time you elect your leaders? There's supposed to be separation of powers. So if there's no separation of powers, there will be compromisation, and when there's compromisation, there will be problem in those areas. That's why they now create constitution to back them up. But when you look at that constitution, see that you see functions being repeated in the constitution. That's why they are saying that they have to involve the House, so that the House can do amendments in the constitution, so that it's not like they are doing something that is unconstitutional.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
All right. So, okay. Moving on, I want to ask Dr. Bashir with this question, because he seems like he's saying that this is a step in the right direction. But then, the report said that if between 2012 to 2015, that if that report was implemented, that it was going to save Nigeria 862 billion naira. Seeing how Nigeria is right now, do you think that scrapping and merging of all these agencies will reduce drastically federal government's spending and cost of governance? Now, we know very well what happened when we had the House of Reps said, oh, they wanted to get a cars of 160 million, and then a lot of things, having the wife of the president, getting the wife of the president, I think cars or something, a lot of things.
Even building a house for building now.
And do you think that this really will actually reduce the money being spent on cost of governance?
Okay. Let me take on that question from the perspective of the removal of fuel subsidy. The federal allocation that is being distributed every month prior to removal of fuel subsidy, has it increased or reduced? You will see it has increased. Yes. If this report has been implemented, way back in 2012 or 2014, we would have seen a stabilized economy to some extent before the turnout of events that destroyed everything that we are seeing.
Sorry to butt in here. Yeah. Yes, FAC allocation has increased to states, but then states, the people, the indigents of some of these states are still complaining. It's not, they don't feel relieved in any way.
Yes.
So how beneficial has that been truly?
Of course, they will complain. Why? Because we have no mechanism that makes us to hold these governors of states responsible. We have nothing. So I want to tell you that let's start with the public service. And as soon as we are able to deal with the backlog in the public service, the rep and the senate will get set. because it is coming to them.
So why not start
It is
from
about-
them?
Why not start
Why
from
do we
the
have to start
lawmakers?
from Nigerians, from let's say in
The
quotes,
civil servants.
the civil servants? Why not start from them? I mean, we have more ministers than we
Okay.
possibly have ever had before.
Thank you.
So why not start
Because
from them?
Yeah, thank you. You see, these people you are looking at, the ministers, the rep members, the senate members, are politicians. They are political appointees, the elected members. They have little time, very few. 4 years or 8 years maximum. Now, these public servants run things. Ask anybody anywhere. Even when a minister is brought, the first person to tell him what to do is the PS. The PS will sit down and say, boss, this is how we run things. And, you know, this is a meeting that will be held behind closed doors. And he comes out and begins to flip around like he's the boss. Actually, the real boss is the PS. So if we do not start from these individuals, these are the people who will be in the government, who will be in the public service for at least 35 years. Look at it. How many governments, how many politicians they will have consumed in their years of service? The experience is there. They know the nitty-gritty. If we do not start dealing with that, then we won't get anywhere. We won't get anywhere.
All right, then let me come to Lawal again. Lawal, some have called this a policy somersault because back in the day, agencies like the Voice of Nigeria and Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria were together. They were merged. Somewhere down the line, an administration came and separated them, and now they are trying to merge them again because Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria and Voice of Nigeria will be merged under this implementation of the Oronsaye Report. Isn't this a policy somersault? Or is that even allowed? Is that something that one should applaud?
See, when you do something like these agencies were created, the question is, why were they created? Now you want to merge them. Why do you want to merge them? You say these are the questions that we fail to answer. We are interested in money. You see, when I hear that to save the government money, I didn't like that merger or whatever.
Okay.
Because the reason why you are doing it is to save money. But the question is, what were those agencies actually, created to do a certain thing? So if they are obsolete, they will know.
But
So let us know which
we
one of
also
them are
know
obsolete.
that-
For example, the one of VOA, why was it created in the first place?
VON.
I mean, VON, it was separated. Now, we have FROSC, you have a VIO. Why do you have FROSC and you have VIO? The question is, why were they separated? Why were they created? If VIO is doing the function of FROSC, it is good. But if you are saying because you want to scrap VIO, because you want to scrap it to save money.
Okay, so your grounds here is the ideology behind the
Yes, it's what we should be looking at, not the money to be saved. Because like she said earlier, which I saw as a very good thing, that when you save all this money, does it actually bring positive development to the country? You save money on subsidy, and yet we still have the problem. So that's why I clarify it to people every now and then, that the reason why the subsidy was created in the first place, to solve a problem. Did you solve that problem to make the subsidy obsolete? Is the subsidy obsolete? It's not obsolete. It's still very, very relevant in Nigerian system, because the reason why it was created has not been solved. The problem why the subsidy was created has not been. So why do you now say the subsidy is removed? So if you are now trying to merge the agency, are you merging them to save money, or you are merging them because they are obsolete? You get it?
Functions.
So let us look at those who are obsolete, and let's look at those you are merging to save money. The humanitarian ministry of humanitarian, we all know that ministry is there to take care of some politicians. That is why nothing good is coming out of that ministry. It could have been scrapped to be under Ministry of Interior, because it's an interior business. But you separated it because of some reason. That's why we see money being lost in that area. The same thing is happening in Lagos, where you have Ministry of Special Duty. You have already done, you have shared all the ministries, and there's nothing to share again. You now create a Ministry of Special Duty. So we now say that ministry has no serious functions. You get it?
Okay.
So the same thing we have in many of this area. So what we want to look at, what I am after, is what are the modalities for the creation of this. So when you are putting your white paper down, you have to tell Nigerians the reason why these agencies were created in the first place, and the ministries, and the reason, each one of them, and the reason why you think they are obsolete, before you now begin to tell us.
I don't think it's about being obsolete. I think it's about duplicity of
and that means that it's functionless. Because if you are doing the same thing, somebody will have to, if you put a task down, and two of us have to do the same task, somebody will have to be redundant. So the redundant person is obsolete, of course, because that means it's not relevant. You get? So if that is the reason, fine. But if you are telling us you are scrapping it because to save money, then that is not a good reason. You get what I'm saying? It's not a good reason. Right. So let us know those who tell us why these agencies were created.
Okay.
Or ministries. Tell us why you think that ministry, outline to us why you think that ministry should be scrapped. Then before you now begin to tell us what we are going to gain from it. Don't just tell us we are saving 180 billion, we are saving 100 trillion, we are saving this. That is not the reason. Because if you scrap it, it may affect so many other things.
Okay. Then that also brings me to this question. I want to ask Barrister Bashiru. When the fuel subsidy was removed, when it was announced, and then a lot of people were of the opinion that, the presidency did not make plans. They didn't make plans so that at least Nigerians wouldn't have to suffer so much, with a lot of things that people said. Now, the report has been brought to be implemented. What do you think are the measures that the government should actually take to mitigate the repercussions on citizens? I mean, people will lose their jobs. And with the way Nigeria is right now, nobody would love to lose their jobs.
Well, I think he already said people will not lose their jobs.
People will not lose their jobs. But I still want you to answer the question. What do you think the government should actually put in place to make sure that the people that would lose their jobs, even though you said people will not lose their jobs, would at least not go through so much suffering and hardship that the country is going through already?
Okay, fine. You see, a responsive and responsible government will not, at a critical time like this, allow people to go to the streets after having lost their jobs. No. We're going to have more than we can cater for. So the job will not be lost. But there will be people who will be held very seriously responsible for whatever they earn, however little it is. They will be held very seriously accountable. So I do not see people losing their jobs. If we sell this domain to the public, we will set this country aflame. Because things are very, very difficult. And if what we are selling to the people about the implementation of Oronsaye Report is people are going to lose their job, then it is going to be too sensitive. In fact, we won't be able to curtail the outburst that we will receive from the public. In fact, if people should get to have this understanding while marching on the street today, then the police will have a whole lot of tasks in their hands. So the intention is not to get people off the work. No.
Okay.
Fewer people may lose their job. Fewer people may lose their job, especially people at the directorate level. Majority of those people at the directorate level may lose their job, but not those who are actually making the job to be done. Because those who are actually making the jobs to be done are the people at the government.
Yes.
These are the people you send around. And these are not the people who are stealing Nigerian money. These are not the people who are having direct contacts with the politician. No. So what the government certainly will have put in place is to ensure that those at the lower rung of the ladder are not particularly affected by this restructuring and this margin of parastatals and agencies. So what I sincerely believe is that if this is done, a lot of people go to offices today. I'm not talking about private business. A lot of people go to offices today, public offices today, and they will sleep from morning till night, or they will be selling things, running errands on their own, away from what they came to sign to do. I think it is high time we put a stop at this nonsense. It is becoming too large. It is becoming too heavy for the government to bear.
All right, then if I understand you clearly, you're trying to solve the problem of civil servants going to work to sell ashwebi and sell
do their own business,
melons, and do other things, doing their own businesses. So those that are redundant will have to, be shown the way out, and those that know the job will be given the responsibility of doing the job. Oh well, this conversation will obviously continue into the coming days until the mergers are completed and agencies that will be scrapped are scrapped. But in the meantime, let's look at another issue now. Now, Trade Union Congress has asked the president to order the importation of food items within 2 weeks, all in a bid to cushion the effect of the hardship in the country after withdrawing from the planned protest, of course. Well, the planned protest, we'll keep our eyes to the ground and our ears, I beg your pardon, keep our ears to the ground and let you know if the protest has started or where it is taking place. But in the meantime, let's talk about the position of TUC, and that will be after this break. We'll be back in a bit. Stay with us, Barrister. Stay with us, Mr. Lawal. Stay with us, Nigerians. We'll be back in a bit.
When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports and even entertainment. Join us weekdays 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Welcome back to VOP this morning on VOP TV. With the high cost of living and current economic crisis, the Nigerian Labour Congress is set for a nationwide protest on Tuesday, which is today, and Wednesday over economic hardship in Nigeria. The Trade Union Congress, however, withdrew from the protest and asked the federal government to order the importation of food items within 2 weeks to cushion the effect of hardship in the country. TUC accused the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank of being behind the high cost of living in the country through their advice for the removal of fuel subsidies and electricity tariffs. The National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, also appealed to the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, not to consider the strike. However, Femi Falana has asked for adequate protection of protesters ahead of the protest. In the studio, we have Mr. Lawale Kundayo, educationist and a farmer, and also a public affairs commentator. And joining us, Michelle, is Barrister Bashiru Baduru. And I would like to ask Mr. Lawale Kundayo this question. Now, people are calling for NLC not to even go for the protest. I'm talking about the TUC, saying that they are withdrawing, they are backing out from the protest. And last week, we also heard that DSS warned them about backing on a protest. Do you think the NLC protest will actually have any effect on the economic hardship Nigerians are passing through?
Now, if I'm going to use this illustration, it's like a child, that is hungry, and you want the child to go to school, or you want to send the child on an errand, and the child is hungry. Of course, the child cannot beat you. You are the mother. It's so small. You get. But the child has one instrument. It will not do what that thing you said it should do. It will continue to cry. The child will cry until you get tired. You get it. That is what Nigerians are doing. You get. Because now, at this point, Nigerians are desperate. They are hopeless. Even when you talk about TUC, what is TUC? It's just the formality of, it's just a formality.
You think so?
Yes, because the people under it are the actual people, and they have been going on strike, for God's sake. There was on demonstrations in Oyo State. Did they go on under the umbrella of TUC? They went on their own on the streets.
Those were Nigerians, not a trade union, not organized labor.
No, that's what you say.
Now we're talking about organized labor.
That's what I'm saying. That when you say TUC, you say organized labor. Both of the NLC, both of them are running concurrently. They are separated. They are together. So one can declare a protest. One may say he doesn't want to, because both of them are running concurrently.
All right.
So now, if TUC says it's not going on protest because he believes that it will cause problems, but Nigerians are already going on protest on their home without TUC. You get it? That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
So Nigerians are already going on protest. Ordinary Nigerians with no organization, they are not even coming out under anybody, whether they are under TUC or under NLC. They are not coming out under any organization. What they are coming on the street on their own.
Yes,
because they are hungry on their own.
So do you think that this organized protest now by Nigeria Labour Congress, do you think is going to help to cushion the effect of the economic hardship we're having in the country?
See, the people, you see, NLC has been, shelving the strike, but it now come to the level it to realize that it's like it has no choice, because people are coming out on their own without these bodies.
So this protest will help us.
Yes, you see that it has no choice but to be with the people. That is what NLC is doing now. Okay. It has no choice but to be with the people, because the people are already coming out on their own.
All right.
Seeing that NUC is saying that they are not together with...
you mean the TUC?
TUC rather, they're not together with... NLC. Is that not
with
going
regards
to
the strike?
To the strike, yes. Is that not
the protest rather? The
protest, yeah. Don't you think there's something going up that possibly we do not know?
It's possible. It's like the leadership. Maybe the leadership of NLC saw that if they come together with TUC.
Oh well. Let me interrupt you here. Basically, when NLC called for the strike, TUC did not say they were going to join in the strike from the very beginning. In the protest, rather, it's a 2-day protest that will lead up to a strike if nothing is done. But let me come to the barrister now. Barrister, welcome once again. Now, in previous times, we've seen government dilly-dally when it comes to conversations with organized labor, and the position of organized labor has been, if they don't call for a protest, if they don't call for a strike, government will not call them to a round table to have conversations. In October 2023, there were conversations as to certain implementations of certain things that should be done to cushion the effects of the removal of subsidy on Nigerians. I mean, you were talking about the removal of subsidy earlier. Now, some of these things were not done. There was to be a committee set up to talk about the proposal of the new minimum wage. That committee was not set up until some weeks back. The wage award, the 35,000 naira wage award, was not even paid up until very recently. You know, it just seemed like when NLC decided to go on protest, then government started paying the wage award. Now, government has also talked about paying the 25,000 naira to families, 12 million households. That conversation is coming up now. But these things were discussed, actually, were supposed to have been implemented from October 2023. Is it that government is just taking Nigerians and NLC for granted, as some are postulating? Or what exactly do you think has been the reason for government's dilly-dally in implementing some of the agreements reached?
Yeah, I think, thank you. I wouldn't know whether this your correspondence on the street. I think his mic is on and the interruption is coming. So,
oh yes,
now,
we do apologize for that. They'll fix the microphone. We have our correspondents on the street monitoring the protest there. But please,
I noticed that. Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
You see, in the past, NLC used to be a very strong body. In fact, NANS used to be a very strong body on the government, especially when policies are rolled out and they sat down to look at the policy and evaluate and say, no, there are things hidden in this policy that are not known to the public, and we have to make it known to the public because the objective of the government with this policy is not positive, it's negative. And they come on the streets to protest. Yes, when you do protest as against strike, when you call for strike, you ought to have held meetings with the government, and if this meeting is not yielding, then you can declare a strike action. That is a sit-at-home industrial action. But for a protest, a demonstration, a walk around the street, you don't particularly need to hold any sections with the government. It's just to show that this is to tell the government we may be going on strike after showing to the public that the policy of this government is not favorable to the public. That is the picture. But the truth is away totally from the picture. Agreed, the things are hard, but not only in Nigeria. Things are hard not only in Nigeria. In South Africa, as at yesterday, there is a call that a liter of petrol is selling for 1,850 naira, like 44 rands. So it's so embarrassing. Have they removed fuel subsidy in South Africa too? So the question is not about Nigeria, it's not about removal of fuel subsidy. Have these leaders of this NLC actually sat down to evaluate things appropriately and inform the public as it is necessary, rather than holding a protest that may go volatile and they will lose control? The same thing they did when NSAS was being muted. There were warnings, but the government of that time just felt it is their constitutional right, let them use it, including Shifemi Falana, who is today claiming that people should go on the street and police must not harass anybody.
Isn't that the position? Isn't that what the police should be doing, actually? Protecting Nigerians who are protesting. Shouldn't they protect as against one that
of course
some people might take it over?
Very, very good. If police had warned and restricted your movement to certain locations, they have their reasons, because they gather intelligence and they tell you, please restrict your movements to so environment. When you refuse and things get out of hand, what do you want the police to do?
Apparently, I think what we see here is a lack of trust, because NLC is also saying NLC doesn't seem to trust the government of the day. they feel agents of government infiltrate protest and cause chaos. So NLC is saying, look, if we are attacked, then we will shut down the economy completely. That's what NLC is saying.
See, NLC is only trying to act the script of his dictators, of his masters.
You think so?
That is
Who
the
the
way
masters,
the government of today will look at it. The more reason why they have to be more careful and modest in this protest. Otherwise, once it is hijacked, they will be blamed for it.
All right, but who would you describe?
How do you identify who are the agents of government infiltrating into their midst? How do you identify them?
But who would you describe as the masters of NLC? Barrister, who would you describe as the masters of NLC, seeing that Nigerians, without coming under the umbrella of organized labor, have been going to the streets already? So who are the masters of NLC dictating this particular script now?
Thank you. We can equally argue that these individuals who came to the streets without the prompt of NLC may have also been prompted by NLC underground, not our knowledge.
Sorry about that. All right, Barrister Bashiru Badru, we're still speaking. Have we lost connection with the barrister there? Well, we do apologize if we do apologize for that interruption. Our man Tosin Ejalonibu, who is on the streets of Lagos monitoring the NLC protest, seems to have a few words for us. So let's just take a minute, go to Tosin now. Good morning to you, Tosin. What is happening on the streets? I saw earlier rapid response squad vehicles stationed and some Nigerians standing by, waiting. What is the situation of things on the streets now? Tosin.
Yes. Can you hear me in the studio?
Oh yes, go right ahead.
So I'm here live in the streets of in Ikeja on that bridge where the protest is happening live here, and you can see at my background here, there's every security presence here. Already members of the NLC already gathered here to ensure that the strike goes on. The NLC, I've insisted on the strike yesterday. They met with a representative of the Labour, representative of the Ministry of Labour, the representative of the presidency, which was the team was headed by the SDF, George Akume, but they still insisted on this strike, and it seems that with what we can see here, this strike is going to go on. Right here in my background here, you can see that you can see members of the NLC already gathered here. I already saw the ASU chairman of Lagos State chapter also here also. They are waiting for the NLC chairman in Lagos, Comrade Agnes Sesi, to arrive here, and they're going to begin the protest. Earlier already, we have representative of the police speaking to the protesters and having a conversation to them to ensure that it's a peaceful protest, and also that to ensure that there's no obstruction of economic activities in the state. So these are some of the things already going on now in life here in Ikeja on that bridge. I'll keep you updated as the protest goes on. But for now, the protesters they are still gathering here. They are still they are still waiting for their chairman, and it seems that they are going to be moving from here down to Alausa to that's where the seat of government is here in Lagos, to ensure that they get the representative of the government to address some of their concerns.
And then thank you very much, Tosin Ejalonibu, who is monitoring the situation of things. We do appreciate you, but do stay safe and keep us abreast of events happening right there.
Thank you very much, Moses.
All right then. Now let me. Well, we lost connection with Barrister Bashiru Badru there, but I do hope we have re-established communication. But while we wait for that to be confirmed, let me come to you now, Lawale Kundayo. Now, TUC did say that it's advising the government to import food. In fact, giving the government 2 weeks to start importation of food. Relax on the production of food here, because of, we know the issues that we have on ground, insecurity being one of them, and just import food. Let people have food to eat first. How do you react to that? Is massive importation of food into the country the way to go right now?
Well, the word from TUC is just an irresponsible word to me. It's irresponsible. You are telling...
It's irresponsible?
Yes. Because you want to have something to say because you don't want to join NLC on the protest. So you just want to say something so that people will say, okay, they said something. That's why you said they should import. You are giving government 2 weeks to import. Now, NLC will now come out and say, after your 2 weeks expiration, NLC will now come and say, we are not part of it because we are not being involved when they said that. You get, see the way you are trying to create a division between the two bodies that people look up to help them to speak in a body language to the government. You get it? So you are now coming out to tell us that they should import food massively, and that is not a responsible word. It's a word of someone that has no solution, just want to say something. Because we have farmers in Nigeria, and these farmers need to be protected. If the prices of food are going up, the question is, what are we producing inside? Is it enough? Is it not enough? If you say they should import food, what about the price? What about cement? That the price is going up.
No, but the position of TUC is that a hungry man is an angry man. Let man see food to eat first before we talk about building or any other thing.
That means you want to further cause problem in the country.
The farmers in the country. What have the farmers in the country actually produced?
Have
they produced enough thing for us?
That is why I said there must be a strategy. You are just talking without a strategy.
But
that's
you know that
TUC.
it is the person that is alive
So
that will actually follow a policy.
Okay, so like look at the one that happened. We look at the one customs is doing. People will import vehicles, you impound their vehicle and sell it at a bad rate. So what happened to the people who have invested in the importation? Now people imported rice. You impound their rice, and then you are now selling it to the people. So what message are you passing out when you now open border? If you want to import, you are importing either because you are not producing that thing, or the one you are producing is not enough. So you have to manage it in such a way that you don't affect those inside. That's why in some developed countries, I'm coming.
Okay.
Government subsidize agriculture. Government buy from farmers and store. That's why you have the word strategic grain reserves. There are so many others. They call it strategic because they buy it from farmers when it is cheap. The Nigeria were the West, the East, when Nigeria was in the regionalization era. Yeah. You see,
the rice was actually smuggled, not imported. That was the reason why it was
the
seized.
word smuggled and imported, they are the same word. We are just categorizing them. Each one is defining its own. Because when you import, you are bringing it from somewhere to your country. But when you say smuggled, it's still something that is brought in from another country to your country. Only that you are saying that you did not give approval. That's why you are calling it smuggled. But both of them are brought into the country. Let us clarify that.
So now, as a farmer that you are, seeing the fact that TUC said that the federal government should import foods for the citizens, how do you react to that? You mentioned the fact that if this is not enough, we should import, and then
that's
as a farmer that you are, how do you react to the fact that the TUC is asking the government to import?
Do you see? When I went to buy some things in my house, I love to buy things. I love cooking, so I buy some things in myself to do some special cooking, and I discovered that it is not all food stores that their price increased astronomically. It is just those ones that are the alternative of those of the other one. For example, if you go to the market, you see some food stuff for cooking soup, like tomatoes, like onions, like pepper. You see that they did not increase astronomically.
Really?
Yes, I went to buy
no,
yesterday.
They do.
No. I went
They
to buy
do.
tomato yesterday.
Okay.
I went to buy tomato at
Okay.
Oshodi yesterday.
Okay.
If you get there, you see that it is not that the price increased so much. It's just that there's a slight reduction in the quantity compared to when you go to buy something like Gary within a month has increased from 1,500 to 2,500. You see, it's moving because that Gary and rice plus wheat, they are in the area of starch.
Staple foods.
Yes, they are in the area of, let me use the word starch. Okay. If you look at protein like fish and meat, we have meat in Nigeria, but because the price of imported fish has increased, people divert to meat, so the price of meat went up.
Okay.
You get, had it been Nigeria, like I said earlier on, Lagos State supposed to be supplying the whole Nigeria and the world with fish, we would have had something to fall back to, in which we will not be importing fish, and the price of protein meat will have come down. You see, that is what we call strategy. If farmers are producing, you have to see what the farmers are producing. How are they supposed to sell it? If you are subsidizing agriculture, you will be able to manage the price, and then you know what is coming in. So if you have the one in Nigeria, and the price, you get it, they are producing, let me say, bags of at the cost price. The bag is 10,000 naira, and then farmers add 5,000, making 15,000. It's called that the price is going up. With 15,000, farmers are still making profit. Then you know that, okay, we can still bring in some rice into Nigeria. So the one that is going to be brought in will be expensive, so that only the rich will go for it. While the common man will still remain with the one in Nigeria. Okay. So that's why the one in Nigeria is 15,000. Right. The one imported is 25,000, 30,000.
Yeah. Are you talking about rice now?
Yes.
Okay, that was a long time ago.
So that's what I'm saying. I guess there's a strategy for you not to say flood the market.
Let's come back to
you want to ruin the economy.
Okay, so Barrister, I want to know if you think there will be a significant change from this protest ongoing. Now, you know very well that you may recall that the Minister of the State mentioned that the federal government had met with NLC over the salary upgrade just twice, and now there's a protest. Do you think that Nigerians should have faith in NLC, that after this protest that there will be a change in everything that they have discussed with the federal government?
Okay. Well, if I say I see a prospect in this protest, I will say I'm just also speaking in tongue. I can't see a prospect in the protest. One, it's significant that Nigerians should be told the truth. And Nigerians are not lazy people. Nigerians are not blockheads. Nigerians can easily see around and say, okay, fine. These people we have chosen to speak on our behalf, how sincere are they? Nigerians have also doubted the sincerity of the so-called NLC. I am so shocked when Mr. Lawal said the statement of TUC is I take the similarity between importation and smuggling as same. It's just like saying cheating in an exam and passing, and the person who read are the same thing. I mean, it doesn't fly with me anyway. But I have not seen any prospect in this protest, because it is going to again exacerbate. It turned out to affect the little things people are still doing to manage on their own. If you disturb the economy today and the country is shut down, then it means people who have been managing with the little they had won't even be able to come out, because they will be in position of curfew, and people will now languish at home because some people who think they have voice to attack the government.
The question I have
streets.
for you now is why do you think government would always wait up until it is a wrestling bout before doing agreements reached with organized labor? Why is government
I've seen this government waiting. I've not seen this government waiting for protest. No, I've not seen it, because this government has constituted a committee that, especially on wage raise, and this committee, to my knowledge, have met twice on this same issue. So I have not seen them waiting until people jump to the streets to protest.
But you know they threatened them with contempt, the same thing that they did in 2023. This present administration actually threatened the NLC with the issue of contempt, taking them to court over that. If they are to carry out today's protest.
If you can remind me, when was this committee set up? And how often were they supposed to meet? And when were they supposed to submit their report? So these are things we have to take into consideration. And how often have this same body, NLC, responded to the call of this committee? How often? So some of these things
are unfortunately brief for NLC here. But from what we have seen, reports...
Neither am I holding brief for the federal government.
I understand.
I'm not doing that.
I understand. But what we've seen from reports is that, I mean, NLC did come out to say, look, most of the time they were supposed to meet with agencies of the government. They were not even there. They will get there and they'll meet empty chairs. And it is only when they say, look, Nigerians, let's come together, let's embark on a protest, let's embark on strike. That's when government moves in to do something. And government says, okay, come, let's sit down and talk. And that, in effect, is why Nigerians seem to have lost trust in NLC. Because when government says, come, let's talk, and it's okay, we are not going on strike anymore, Nigerians say, oh, look, you guys don't even have, you can't even throw your weight around. You don't have what it takes to fight our cause. So Nigerians are going about fighting their cause by themselves, while NLC seems to have lost faith. Some say it's a tactics played by the government. Don't you think so?
It may be, and it may not be.
Okay.
So it's either ways. So now, what I'm thinking very sincerely is that I would expect, as a member of NBA, as a member of Nigerian Bar Association, I have oftentimes charged on NBA, educate the public about the policies of government, rather than attack the government on what you think they do not do right. When these policies are out, first organize conferences and seminars to talk to people, let them become aware of the implication of these policies, rather than now waiting for the issues to degenerate and you now start. How long have NLCs, the body constituting NLC, what have they done in their respective areas? These organizations that came under the umbrella of NLC, how much orientation, how much sensitization have they done since the removal of subsidy before we get to where we are today?
All right, and Barrister, we are pressed for time.
Except they hit the street and start making some noise.
Barrister, we are pressed for time. We're wrapping up the show now. We're wrapping up this conversation. So we'd like you to give us, in about a minute, so let's have your concluding thoughts on the topics shared so far.
My thought is that the government must be responsive and be responsible, because I do not even support importation of food items. No, I do not. Increase this wage, because things, if you import, it is the same wage you would take to buy things in the market. The things you are importing for us to buy, we don't even have the money to buy it. So make the wage raise your first priority. When that is done, then things you want to import, we will be able to buy and go home safely.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Barrister Bashiru Badru, all the way from Kano. Thanks for joining this conversation. Now let's come to Mr. Lawale Kundayo. Your final thoughts as well in about a minute.
All right. One, I support the demonstration because in all over the world, systems are set right, governance are set right through protest of the people. When they feel the bite of the government policy, they go on street and the government listen to them. It's going all over developed country, whether France, UK, Germany, US. Protests are going on and it's working.
Okay.
This same government have done protests before against the past government and it worked. So your own too is going to work and we are going on street. Normal.
Do you intend to join the protest?
I'm going, yes.
All right. Okay. Then.
Second, importation of food is normal. But what I am saying is that for you to come out and say in 2 weeks to import is irresponsible. That's what I'm saying.
Right,
so it has to be strategic. It must be planned so that you are not going to kill the agric industry at home. You get it? Because you just want to flood the market with good. No, you have to be strategic about it. We want to import.
Thank you very much.
I support importation.
Lawale Kundayo for coming on the program. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll have business, entertainment, and sports dished to you. So, hey, stay with us. We'll be back in a bit.
When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports and even entertainment. Join us weekdays 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Well, of course, we'll be taking reports from Tosin much later as events unfold on the streets of Lagos as we monitor the NLC strike. But in the meantime, let's look at some business stories now. Amidst the mounting cost of living crisis, the Trade Union Congress, TUC, has called upon the federal government to initiate the immediate importation of essential food items to alleviate the impact of skyrocketing food prices nationwide. Now, TUC President Festus Osifo, in a press conference addressing the economic hardship gripping the nation, emphasized the unprecedented level of distress faced by Nigerians, attributing it to factors including inadequate patronage of locally made products and services. Osifo stressed the necessity for a temporary relaxation of national efforts towards achieving food sufficiency locally, advocating for the immediate procurement of food items from international markets to be distributed among vulnerable Nigerians. Now, the TUC's appeal aims to curtail hyperinflation of food prices, urging the government to permit food importation within the next 2 weeks. In a divergence within the baking community, a faction of bakers has opposed the nationwide strike, slated to commence today by some of their counterparts. The Association of Master Bakers and Caterers of Nigeria had announced plans for the strike, citing unmet agreements with the federal government and pressing for policy adjustments, including the liberalization of flour and sugar importation. However, the Supreme Bakers and Confectioners Association of Nigeria has voiced dissent, contending that embarking on a strike during a period of national hardship could exacerbate the situation. The association's acting national president, Edmund Egbuji, urged members to refrain from participating in the strike, highlighting the need for unity and sensitivity to the prevailing economic challenges faced by Nigerians. And lastly, in the world of business, the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, has sounded the alarm bells over the escalating foreign exchange crisis, warning of potential factory shutdown if the situation continues to deteriorate. MAN's Director General, Segun Ajayi Kadri, expressed concern over manufacturers' inability to access sufficient forex at official rates, leaving them reliant on the parallel market. Now, the persistent depreciation of the naira has exacerbated high production costs, leading to decreased capacity utilization and a surplus of unsold goods. Ajayi Kadri emphasized the looming threat of job losses, with the first quarter of 2024 projected to see a surge in unemployment if sales improvements are not realized. The prevailing forex volatility and naira depreciation have left manufacturers grappling with uncertainty, prompting a cautious approach to production amidst challenging economic conditions. Well, these are the business stories we're tracking at the moment. We'll have more for you in our business program later today. But in the meantime, let's take a break. When we come back, entertainment will be coming your way. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Moving on to entertainment this morning. Nigerian singer Adekunle Gold has actually opened up about his battle with sickle cell. He stated that he was diagnosed with sickle cell at birth, reflecting on the challenges that came with it. The singer paid tribute to sickle cell survivors during his latest stage performance. He encouraged those with similar health challenges to remain resilient and focused on pursuing their life goals. Adekunle also dedicated his performance of the song 5 Star to the sickle cell survivors. And moving on, we also have the fact that the Nigerian music industry is paving the way for international collaboration with legends in the industry. Now, fantasizing about collaborating with Nigerian top leagues, Usher is no doubt a lover of Afrobeats. Now he has let us know his desire to be a part of it after talking about the Nigerian music industry and how popular it is now. The American R&B singer collaborated with Nigerian singer Fields on a song titled Rune. The song gained popularity and sparked his desire for more. Usher said that collaborating with Fields, he felt Burna Boy would take his music to a different level of credibility. So he featured Burna Boy on a song titled Coming Home. And that's all we have for entertainment this morning. I'm tempted to ask Moses a question about the fact that Adekunle Gold, he has sickle cell anemia. I'm surprised.
Well, I didn't even know.
You wouldn't even know.
He has obviously carried it well.
Managing it well.
Yes, he's managed it well, and well, our hearts go out to everyone who is struggling, battling, and also if you know your genotype, it's best to just avoid saying, you know, if you are of the SS genotype, it's best to just avoid it. Don't let love lead you into bringing up children that will suffer.
Yeah.
in the course of time.
Right.
But for Usher Raymond, I'm a fan of Usher Raymond.
Okay.
I'm a fan
You
of
look
his
like
songs.
it.
Oh yes.
Can you do the breakdance thing?
No, I can't.
Why not?
But I'm a fan of Usher Raymond, and it's good that he's trying to revive his career.
Okay.
I see that as reviving his career.
Yeah.
Coming to jump on Afrobeat. Well, the song he did with Fields,
Was just there, B.
yeah.
Okay.
The song was just there.
Okay.
So it's okay if he feels a Burna Boy will take his music to another level. That's okay.
African giant.
That's okay. So if he gets Burna Boy on a track, good. I'll dance to it. I'll rock to it. It's Usher, man.
I'll freestyle to it.
It's Usher. All right, then. We'll take a break now, and then David E, as he calls himself, will be taking us into the world of sports. Stay with us.
Audio Jungle.
Welcome back to VOP this morning on VOP TV. We have David Edwin in the studio for the sports news. Good morning, David.
Well, it's
David Edwin. No, I know it's David E.
okay. So it's a beautiful thing that the ladies actually were the ones that had to do the introduction before the.
Oh, you didn't like the one I did?
Okay.
No disrespect.
I even gave you a swag. Like, what's up?
Anyway,
I know David is a choir master.
Nah, I'm not even one. I'm just a gospel artist. Nothing more.
Just a gospel artist. All right.
What's happening?
Anyways, let's get to it. The reason why I actually said the ladies, it's a good thing that the ladies introduced, was the fact that the Super Falcons did Nigeria proud yesterday in Abuja. Well, the Nigerian Super Falcons have advanced to the Paris 2024 final qualifying round with a 1-0 victory over Cameroon in Abuja on Monday. Now, the Falcons, aiming for their first Olympic appearance since the Beijing 2008 Games, secured the win after a goalless draw in the reverse fixture in Douala. Esther Okoronkwo emerged as the hero with a crucial 14 minutes goal, securing the Falcons' passage to the next round. Now, the last encounter between the Falcons and Cameroon in Olympic qualifiers was during the race for the London 2012 Games. Despite a 2-1 lead for the Falcons in the first leg, Cameroon won the second leg 2-1 and ultimately qualified for the 2012 Olympic Games after a penalty shootout. Now, in the upcoming final qualifying round, the Super Falcons will face the winners between South Africa and Tanzania. And of course, South Africa holds a commanding position, having won the first leg 3-0 away from home and is considered the favorite to advance. So the Super Falcons doing what they know how to do best. Hopefully they qualify to the Olympic game. Now let's get to another story where the Super Eagles vice captain William Struis Ekong has landed in Finland for a minor surgery, addressing an injury sustained during Nigeria's second Group A match in the 2023 African Cup of Nations. The 30-year-old defender, who played a pivotal role throughout the tournament, secured the decisive goal from the spot in the 55th minute of the mentioned game. Now, despite missing Nigeria's final group match against Guinea-Bissau due to the injury, Struis Ekong made a remarkable return for the round of 16 clash against the indomitable Lions of Cameroon. The defender continued to feature in every minute of the Super Eagles' subsequent 3 games at the AFCON. Struis Ekong, who netted 3 goals during the tournament, earned the prestigious title of the Player of the Tournament. Following the surgery in Finland, he is anticipated to rejoin Greek side PAOK Salonika towards the end of the season. Well, we wish him all of the quickest recovery. And of course, from all of us here, we are only hoping that he comes back playing good football. That's about it in the world of sports.
All right, thank you very much, David Edwin, for those sporting stories there.
Thank you.
All right, that's it on the show today. We do appreciate you. We would like for you to comment on events, stories shared so far. Let us know what you think. On YouTube, we are Voice of the People TV, and on other social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live. And we always read out your comments right here. Well, we don't have any right now. We don't have access to any right now. But of course, in the course of other programs, we'll probably just reach out and take your comments, because we do know some are entering as we speak. But do well to chat us up. Let's know what you think about the programs we're sharing here. Well, that's it. I'm Moses Humphrey. I wish you a beautiful day.
Fina Okechukwu, enjoy the rest of your day. And if you must attend the protest, please try to stay out of trouble. Be careful.
And I'm Masinachi Okafor. Up next is the 9 a.m. news on VOP TV. Have a great day.